In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debated warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited mind sharp and keen, with a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance in this arena. There's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance in this arena. There's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. In the ring we stand tall, words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave, every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited minds sharp and keen, with a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the vibrant lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Heard. Will be heard. Will be heard.
Spartans! What is your profession?
What is going on, everybody? We're back at another stream, another live. Of course, you know where you're at. A Spartan Institute Network. I am your host, the Spartan. I had to change that for a little bit. When it's the right time, I'll explain. But for now, I had the privilege of finally meeting this person, this co-host in person yesterday. I usually call him Baby Good. He's not that baby. I can't even call him Little Guru. He's not that little. But I can call him something else now. I found a new nickname for him. We're gonna call him. Ready, guys? Set. Yep. We're gonna call him Sperm Groot.
Bear paw.
Sperm Groot. Sperm Groot. Sperm
Bear
Groot.
paw.
Dave, turn your
Bear
fucking camera
paw.
on.
Did that on purpose.
Yeah.
It's bear paw. I'm a big dude, so you should know it right now.
Yeah. Actually, you're like a pretty big guy. I can't deny that when I met you yesterday.
I gotta say
But
bear paw.
hang on. Don't get ahead of me. Before I give you the mic, before we get into the show, we know each other what 3 years now.
Yeah.
I know Paul about 3 years. I met him a few times. That was the first time I met you. It was a great time.
hmm
Can you deny that?
No, I won't deny that. We had a
It
good
was.
we had a good conversation, a real good one. So you can imagine how if we would have a sitting studio show and we were talking about different severe topic
Mhm.
because having that conversation with you and Mr. Paul Bennett, it let me know if we were to have a studio conversation, it would have gone real good because
Oh, we're going to. Don't worry. But hang on. I got something to say to you.
go ahead.
Heart to heart, brother to brother, mano to mano.
hmm
I know my plans kind of like got fucked up yesterday because timing. Right. To be honest, I
But
fucked it up.
it's all right.
I know. But it was worth being fucked up because I got the chance to hang out with you and met you.
Mm-hmm.
It was an honor and a privilege sharing my pizza with you yesterday.
Not a problem.
I know that sounds gay, but I don't care.
No, it's not a problem. You know me by now. I don't really always follow the American culture, even though I'm an African person. It's my will, but it's not a problem.
But anyway, brother, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you judge others? Be honest. Don't fucking lie to me. Be honest. Because I'll kick you in the balls.
I say
I can reach because I'm not short.
I judge their character.
Oh, by the way, if I cannot reach kick you in the balls, I'll headbutt your balls. One or the other.
Yeah, I'm a tall guy. I judge character, and I learned that from my uncle and my high school teacher back in my country. When we judging people, we don't just go by what they look like. You go by what kind of character they display. It allows you to know what kind of person they really are.
Hmm.
But the thing in this society called the United States of America, the Western society, they're quick to judge you by your race, about your color, uh, by your people, by your origin, how you look, how you sound. It's the way they judge people in this country is it's so superficial. It's just straight annoying.
I'll give you that.
'Cause I had to be honest though. We talked about it yesterday. How and which we could have gone further. But in my mind, you could be the best person for the job, and you showcase that ability whatsoever. They will not pick you. They will pick somebody else. They think it should be better than you, and that person can be the epic screw up. And when that person screw up and everything else, they will make you kind of after that person, make it seem like the guy didn't do anything. It's like your fault. I have seen that happen to me several times in my career. People are thinking, "Oh, he can't do the job right." Really? Okay. And this is the truth. Whenever I get underestimated at any job I've been on, I let it be my fuel to let her regret that. So I let my work speak for itself. I don't have to talk too much about it. I'd have put in a good epic show. So when people around the environment out to say, yo, this is the real deal. You didn't ran your mouth about me, not I look like a fool among them. And I do that for the sake of enjoyment. Because I've been to where people look down on me like I can't do this or I can't do that. And I'm like, say no more. If I know I can do it, then it's fine. If I know I can really do it, I prove you wrong. Rather yet, I make sure it's hard for you to avoid it. But in the world we live right now, it's ridiculous now. And I'm trying to talk political, but you can walk outside and they will say, "Oh, you a Haitian." People. Some people think I'm Jamaican or Haitian. I'm like, excuse me, I'm neither of those two. But how you sure I'm either of the two? Like, so imagine a person from your complexion or anything else close to, let's say, a Latino. You walk down the street and they go pick you up and act like you're a illegal immigrant. So what? Watching the
Oh,
news.
I've been called Latino multiple times. When I used to have a buzz cut, I would and I had a short beard. Yeah, 100%. I was like, and started talking to Spanish like, dude, I'm not Latino.
So imagine that going on right now in this nation, that people are getting taken off the street just because they look like a certain person without questioning, without even figuring out their origin. And I find that weird, very, very weird. This immigration policy that being pushed out for this administration, I'm just hoping they screw up and they send me back to another African country. Like, who? How much money can I get for this lawsuit? It is a lawsuit.
Unfortunately, IRS is gonna take half of it.
No, being an American citizen, got the paper done right, and they deport you for no apparent reason. That is a massive lawsuit. The government got to shit out money for that. They have to. There's no if, no but. This is what we are in today's society. That idea, we listen and we don't judge. Not really,
The old saying, "We listen, we don't judge."
really.
Who started that bullshit?
They judge in elementary
What's
school.
going on, Eric?
You a
Oh,
dumb
by the way,
kid.
everybody is like, Eric loves Krispy Kreme. Hang. Me and Paul, after we separated with you, we walked down. I looked at Paul. I don't know if you saw the picture yet. I'll send it to you later. I
Uh-oh.
can show you by line later. Um, we're walking by. I'm like, yo, Krispy Kreme. Like, yeah. So what, Paul goes? I'm like, I look down. I'm like, we should take a picture and send Eric. Like, yo, you're fucking cruel. He goes to me like, do it. And we did.
Eric, it's not me. It's
No, it
him.
was me. It was me. That was 100% me.
So believe me, come on, you're not been to school in New York City. Don't a lot of teachers judge you so quick? They'll think, oh, he's a dumb kid. He's not smart. Or he's a slow kid. The education in the school system judge people anyhow. They'll think you're not a genius in anything. Like you're not gonna make it in life. And what you ever heard so far about people who talk about the public school system? Oh, I had a vendetta. I want to prove the teacher wrong. Like, come on. They've been doing that from ages. They judge you how you walk, how you look, what kind of home you came from. They judge you based on your parents. Your parents not well known, they're nobody. Okay. They judge you which school you go to. You don't go to a big Ivy League college. Come on. They judge you based on the neighborhood you live in. In New York City, the best neighborhood in New York City had to be the Jamaica Estate, because that's the rich people community back then. Now, if you were to update the standard, Jamaica Estate is still part of that list. Then you got downtown Brooklyn, because now downtown Brooklyn for the rich folks. You got Dumbo. which is further downtown in Brooklyn, near the Brooklyn Bridge, which is also meant for the rich folks. You got would Harlem be there? I believe so. Midtown Manhattan, all the way to 54th Street, and so on. Those regions, those are rich neighborhood areas. Yeah, they have some small project in between those areas, but still. Don't think about it. If you're not coming from those type of area that produce rich people, what do it say about you? Oh, he's a bum. He ain't got nothing to show for. He ain't like really. But think about that. We have rap artists who had to lie about their origin just so they can look or feel bad. Trying to find out they came from a rich neighborhood, aka Tiger, the guy with the trust fund baby, trying to be hard.
A lot of believe it or not, I just really found out the other day. A lot of musicians are from trust. A lot of them are they're at their position because Aerosmith, great example. His daughter,
Mm,
bro, I can't take her away. She's a great fucking actress. That woman, she is a
hmm
great actress. But I wonder if she would be discovered as much if it wasn't for Aerosmith.
Bingo, bingo. Now here's the one that everybody want to hear, which is true. Everybody think if you come from a very rich family, you are highly intelligent in college. Bullshit.
No,
That have
not
been the, that have been debunked on the worst way possible about that college admission scandal that happened a couple of years back. All the best and the brightest mind in the United States come from poor homes. They never come from the rich household because one, a huge majority of kids don't like to study. They like to party. They like to show up their mommy and their papa wealth. They like to, how you gonna put it, terrorize poor students in their school and make them their slave. They do all kind of shenanigans. When you boil down into 18-day exam, they sucks. Literally, they suck at hell. And this nation knew that for the longest. But yet, when they got caught in those scandals, paid to play, who get the biggest one of them all? Donald Jackass the Monkey Trump, the most uneducated president in the galaxy.
no politics.
I'm not saying politics. No, you're not getting it. The most. This is not politics. This is the actual facts. This is the guy who we all knew. If you from the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s, you heard about this. He did not graduate from high school. The guy failed. Well, if you were his classmate, you know the guy failed. But his father came and
Oh, that part,
paid.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
He
they paid the
failed in
principal.
he was doing real estate and he failed completely.
No, he failed high school. He failed college. He was going to university in PA. University was going to it's in
I
PA.
didn't know it was in PA.
It was. The father came over there and trying to bribe the dean. The dean said, "Hell no, I ain't going to do it." So since he couldn't get the dean, he went and get the president of the university to pass him. How often you heard about those kind of stuff whereby rich kid parent came in because they failed the class, but they paid the principal or the dean to pass their kids, but you bust your ass hard to graduate. So I'm not doing politics. I'm just calling out the obvious. So
All right,
imagine that.
hang on. Before we move on, let's tackle this comment first. School was always been hell.
Hmm
Even in my day, I got Signed out. Yeah, did I say that right?
Uh,
Yeah.
single out with
I'm
the
sorry,
whole.
single out. With the whole four eyes stigma, and there was Eric. You're not
Ooh,
the only one, brother. Like I was
ooh.
called. Hang on. I was called four eyes. Actually, I should get my glasses. I mean, my eyes about four eyes. I've been called stupid. I was called retarded. I was called. I don't want to use the word, the F word for the opposite. You know, who are
Mm.
GBQ kind of person. I was called because I dress different. I act different. I was a geek. I was called wig bang, Slipknot, everything you can think of in the book. I was not a popular kid. I started gaining popularity probably around ninth grade when I kind of dunked the head football player, captain of football team in the garbage can. They tried to come after me because I was wearing a Christ shirt, and I drew through him right in the garbage can
Ladies and
twice.
gentlemen,
Twice. Once in New York.
what the Sparta is saying, he lost his cool. He had enough.
No,
He
I didn't lose my
snapped.
cool. I know what I was doing.
Oh, you didn't snap?
No.
Oh,
So the
okay. I
first
think
time happened in New York when I still lived there because he picked up my own, like, you know what? I'm gonna teach this son of a bitch a lesson. So whoop, bing, and I'm like, and I was smiling the whole time. You see I saw the video because they had me around camera. Like, did you actually do this? I go,
oh, you
not
snap.
joking you.
You
So the
snap. That's a
second time
snap.
it happened, I was in crutches, and I was wearing my school T-shirt, and I just first moved to this area, not this specific area I live now. I live in Mount Pocono. So I'm in crutches, and this guy go, like, "What do you think you're a karate kid?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm not in a fucking mood." I'm like, "I didn't snap either." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not in a fucking mood. I'm in pain. I just moved to a new school. I don't know who the hell you are." And he goes like, he was coming up in close to my face. I go, "Dude, do you like garbage any chance?" He goes, "What's that? What kind of question is that?" As he's saying that, he go, whoop, boom, and like, and you hear the whole school. Oh, you know how kids are. From that day on, he was known as the garbage kid. The next year and a half, he was known as garbage kid.
And school is so evil because you know why? You could be the
Yeah,
more popular guy tracking the unpopular person. It only take one moment to lose your reputation. If you get beat up by a dweeb or a nerd in the worst way possible, that school will never let you go on that part. They
hmm
will come through and mind you every day and let you leave this. Imagine that during the 80s and the 90s, that was the policy. If you try to be all that and everything, and you find out you're a fraud and you got played by the lowest denomination of the school society, you had to relocate to another school just so that your reputation don't be known too much. But make sure the school is further away, not nearby. You cannot go to school near your former school
yeah,
because if they see you, hey, he going to that school. Let everybody. That's what it does.
bro. You know what? I was picked on so much, and even as I was growing up, I didn't realize it to about 3 or 4 years ago. And I know it's wrong. I admit when I admit my downfalls. I'll be the first one to admit my downfalls, right?
Mm.
Saying, hey, I was wrong. So I used to judge people myself, saying, oh, he has a big head, bald head, whatever. It didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that was wrong till I was dating a Latino. And I kind of explored different kind of lives. By this time, I let it open. Like, you know what? Let me see this in different eyes. And I realized I was a fucking piece of shit person for doing that.
Mm.
But in my defense, I was young, didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? So when I realized I was wrong, at least I admit my wrong. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with admitting you're wrong, but I can grow from that and make myself better. Go ahead, David. I know you got some. Go ahead. I know you have a comeback for that.
It is 50-50 in it because even I myself went through the school era of being judged on a lot of things. I was a nerd. Everybody who grew up in the 60s, the 70s, 80s, and the 90s in the New York City public school era, you're aware of this. There's a jurisdiction, there is a society in there, there is a turf in there. Either you're a sport jock, that's the top level, you're the popular kid, that's the two. Beside the sport jock, on the other side of it, if you're the cheerleader, that's another society as well. So you got sport jock beside it, cheerleader. You got a popular kid, then you had the student body. If you're the student body, you're not really that low, but you still part of the pecking order. Then below them, you have the nerds, you got the dweebs, you got the goth. There are three different societies that would always target it. If you were a dweeb, it's bad. If you are a nerd or a goth, it's worse. Because for some reason, either you are between the nerd and the goth, we get picked on the most. We get bullied the most.
Absolutely.
You get the worst place to get picked on the most is doing cafeteria. Imagine you going to cafeteria. Oh, you cannot sit here. So it was designated in elementary school, middle school, and high school. There's a table designated for dweebs and nerds. They can be part of the other population of kids. When the sport jock have their table, the cheerleader have their table, the popular kid had their table, the student body had their table. Then somewhere where there's numbers, sunlight or whatever, away from everybody else, it's designated for the dweeb, for the nerd, and for the jock. Shout out to the old show that I had back then, on the Broken Dusty Show, aka Jedi Mike, aka Jonathan Barreville, aka Kiki Banter. The three dudes who was on that show, and then a few other female. I forgot their name. We talked about it back then. How unpopular to be smart. How it's so unpopular to be a nerd. But there's not much respect. But yet, we want your homework to get done for you, not to reach out for us, right? Speed dialer. Oh, can you do my homework? Oh, can you give me the answer to the test for tomorrow? Oh, can you do my paper for me? Like, really? Now, guess what? They don't use us no more. We got replaced. Guess what they replaced us with now?
GPT, you got GPT cat.
Thank you.
What's called Chat GPT or Google search. That's hey, you got David 1.0. Then you got GPT, Google. What's next? Freaking astronauts.
I'm telling you, that was our. You don't understand, ladies and gentlemen. Chat GPT took all the nerd job from elementary school, middle school, and high school. That was our job, permanent po- position. The moment that Chat GPT came in, what upon a bully or not, they can bully Chat GPT. Hello,
Bye bye.
get it for me
No,
then.
no. Hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing about now. You guys are not getting picked on as much to do homework, but you get
Hmm.
picked on to fix computers.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me. I'm an
But
IT guy.
hang on. Being a geek back then was a bad thing.
Of
Now
course.
it's fire.
Know what?
You're fire.
Know what? Know
I,
what?
I can't. I'm still trying to get used to that word. It usually
No, no,
I'm
no,
used
no,
to
no.
saying hot.
I feel as if we own reparation. We nerds deserve reparation from this country. Now, it may sound political, but it's not.
But
Oh,
here's my other factor with this. All right.
hmm.
The terminology has changed over the years. That's what makes me, this is why I want to throw this out here for a minute. So it went from sweet to gangsta to hot to fire.
No, but still, I
It means the
believe,
same thing. I know.
I know. I still believe nerd deserve reparation. If you were a nerd from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, you deserve reparation. Reason why I'm saying that. You get picked on for watching anime. You get picked on for playing too much video games. You get picked on for like to read novel or science stuff. You get picked on to
Hang on,
having
hang on,
good
hang on,
grades.
hang on, hang on. Do you remember
Hmm.
Attack of the Nerds?
No, we Revenge of the Nerd. That's the name of the movie.
Yeah, I'm sorry, a version of it. I used to call it Attack of the Nerds for a reason. Hang on,
But
I'll explain to you why in a
okay.
minute. You know, there's a scene in there that you keep it a secret, David. You're in the movie. You see this big black group running across and go, "Holy shit, that's David!"
No, that guy is smaller than me because
But anyway, I'm just messing around with you, dude. You know
I
that. I
know
love you, brother. You know that.
the character you're referring to. I know the character. He was the comedian, but I was more like the leader. I was the black version of that particular leader that everybody picked on. But for some reason, he incognito got the popular girl, and when the popular girl realized who he was messing around with, she didn't want to admit it at first.
Hmm.
But afterward, that she thought to admit, like, she better than my jock boyfriend. He can't do jack. That's why we
All
try
right.
to saying once you go to a nerd, you never go back.
The fu- Let's play the first video.
You know the best way to stop judging people? Stop judging yourself. Because the very thing you're judging people about, in 99.9% of cases, you see something in them that you don't like about yourself.
Mm. Now,
I like
that
hang on. Before we do that, I want to bring Eric's comment up, and we'll get right into that. I was a skinny little white kid that was burly weird. Did I say that?
branded weird.
Brendan with for loving Star Trek and
Oh,
you know, Eric, I'll be honest with you, brother. Like I was called the same thing. I was a Star Trek fan, Star Wars fan, comic book fan, gaming fan. And it used to be
no,
like
that one right there, it's all across the nation during the during the 70, 80, to 90. If
and
you
early
lost
two
that,
thousands, dude. Early 2000s too.
okay, early 2000 before there was a switch. But if you love Star Trek and you can describe the character, talk about the language, talk
Mhm.
about the race and everything, then some in school, you will consider to be a ultimate nerd. They look at you weird. If you love dinosaurs, there's something wrong with you. That also align with you love computer, you can build a thing or another. Those three subjects right there, it was an instant branding. Now, Dragon Ball Z was also on the same level of Star Trek, let's not forget. And we heard on AKA It Might Be Risky, DJ Hemp admitted that it was a no go to say you like Dragon Ball Z. Knowing that's really for the nerd, but yet some of the popular kids, some of the jock watch it too, but never admit they watch it. No, imagine that. That
Yeah, no,
that was
no. That's
another.
why I'm raising my hands. Like, yeah, you're right.
I, I was like, the fact that they admitted that on that show on a live park and they had me on the show, I was like, really? So you one of those group of people who pick on the nerd, but yeah, you're watching our shit. And you won't mention that you watch out. And other people who came on the panel were saying the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. I was picking on nerd watching certain thing and I end up watching them times I like it, but I cannot say I like it because I lose my hood credit. So I had to I'm like, nigga, I should have been a
David.
sorry. Forgive me for saying that word. That triggered me because that was one of those things I
You know
hate.
what?
That
You know what? From now on, if I have to put the N word jar out and make you pay $1, actually no,
uh,
$100 every time you use that word.
oh, I apologize because
This is your last warning, dude. I'm
I
swearing
know.
I'm getting
I,
tired of
I,
this shit.
I, I apologize because that thing was so personal. Like people had to pretend to be something, and you know you part of the crew that pick on people. It's kind of emotional for me because going through middle school, going through high school, elementary school, you get picked on so much to the point whereby you couldn't take it no more, and lose it, and I had to defend my junior who were getting picked on the thing where I remember
I have to agree with you. This
that you don't understand that thing. It's kind of hard not
it's
to
triggering. It's
lose
triggering.
lose a, it,
It's trauma.
and you find out these people knew what they did was wrong, but they also know they were into the same stuff you went into, but they don't want to lose their credibility. It makes me feel like really, but
So
you
I
rather
want to.
partake in the bullying, knowing that even though you're wrong about it, and know that there was no big deal about what we like to get ourselves into, but you just
So
want
I like to share my story also a minute here.
yeah,
I was also bullied a lot for a couple of reasons. One, I was a fat kid always. I was always been fat. David, am I fat? You made me in person.
yeah, you kind of chubby, but that one is it's a that one is a skill in between because there's some fat people who get bullied, and there were some fat people who never get bullied. It's like a
Yeah,
mix.
I don't see you getting bullied. You just sit on them. I see.
Nah, my thing is that I wasn't a fat kid growing up. I was a fat kid in elementary school, and I started to lose weight. Well, into middle to high school, out into mixed martial art and everything. But for what I noticed, being fat, it's like it's weird. If you're a girl and you're fat, you gonna get picked on throughout the whole time. Unless you are fat and you're big and you got that strength to bully, then they cannot pick on you, but they have to be afraid of you. If you're a
Mhm.
guy who is fat, yet you get picked on, but there's some attribute that will prevent you from getting bullied if you are a fat guy. If you're from a rich household, if your parents are people of high society and they know and you utilize it to abuse your authority, that too. If you're into the student body, the student body is like a protection. Once you're in the student body and you have authority from the school, there's some people who abuse it, especially people who are fat. So that's why I'm saying being fat, it's like anyone who been to school, they can talk about this. How it kind of weird. It's based on where you falling, being a fat kid. God forbid you related to one of the admi- administration of the school. Your father is the principal, mother is the principal, or assistant principal, or dean. You can snitch and tell him, Dad, that this kid, you don't, not knowing that you know all the juice. So it's force. So when you see me they fat, I'm like, I'm not sure. Because on this one side on the female, they get bullied the most. Unless you are big, high, what is the term? Birther. Remember that word, birther, kind of female?
Oh God.
Don't say, oh God, you know that thing very well. That was the word they played on tall, big girls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I'm saying that. It was
Boot
fucked up.
like strength. With boot like strength. You cannot make fun of them because if you try to, they're going to sun you in the worst way possible and put fear in you and anybody else. They'll use that the example. So that word was meant for big, strong girl. Sometimes you could call them Samoan. That's another level to it. They think you want to be a Samoan because they're like warrior like female you don't want to mess with. But
Mhm.
the birther was a name. I don't know where it originated from, but that was a bad name to give to big girls who were strong. Even though you had some of these TV show like those were the TV show that Steve Harvey did. That birther like female were bullying other guys. Even the popular kid run from her. Just say, hey, come here, come here. You see them shaking. What do you have in your bag? Uh, open your bag. Well, I would take, but excuse me. No, 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 no. They became the underground bully because as you bullying everybody else and they come in, everything switch.
All right, let's get to the next comment in, and let's get back into our video. I want you to go. Let's talk about that for a second. So, Eric says, I think the most awful thing that happens to in this country were the kids that committed suicide, um, because they feel it was the only way out from being bullied. He's 100% right. Unfortunately, it is. It's a sad thing to do.
So,
But we as like as a young old man versus an ancient old man over here, um, we didn't have to go over cyberbullying. They do. So not only they were you get bullied at home. I mean, excuse me, at school. Now you're getting bullied at home too. I don't know how many of you guys play online gaming, but if you hear these kids talk online, ooh, woo, woo, woo. Yeah, yeah, that's how bad it is.
when you just read that comment, I knew right off the back it had to do with social media. Social media became the ultimate poison.
Social media destroyed a lot of things. And let me rephrase that. Not social media, internet destroyed a lot of things. Excuse me, internet destroys a lot of things. Is friendships, relationships, families, dating, buying stuff. It's the tip of the iceberg. Now AI is in effect. What's next?
The fact that the internet was so dangerous, other countries put laws to make it criminal to do something. I think I'm not sure if it's either China, Japan, or South Korea or Singapore. They have a law against cyberbullying, and it's very serious. They don't play that game. Our country have not really done its job on that as well, because we have people who will bully their fellow mate in school, record videos, and post it on the internet for the world to see. And social media have become the engine for that. The first social media that came out was collarclub.com. I saw that happen one time, but it was between a woman from a particular sorority who cheated on her boyfriend, and they caught a clip of it and they passed it out on that particular social media platform. They gave it the name of the sorority she's a part of, her number, so if you wanted to get a free ride, and that's what she was doing, because the guy who was so pissed off found out that his girl was cheating on him with a different dude behind his back. So what they did, they took a picture, clip, post her scene, blurred out other thing to make sure it won't be taken down, put her sorority group that you're a part of and her number. That's a way of saying that, okay, think you want to act that way, I'll put you out there. And that was a next level compared to what you've done in high school. Though, remember how in the bathroom, they write certain girl's name on the bathroom stall
Yeah,
and give
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
number.
yeah. Actually, I forgot about that shit.
Oh, I didn't forget. I'm a nerd. I'm not forgetting nothing that took place in high school. There was a thing that was going on in the 60s, the 70s, no, with the 70s,
The
80s, and
worst one
90s.
I found was when guys used to write girls' phone numbers on the in the
Bathroom
bathroom
stall.
wall
What?
because that meant she was easy or should do it for money or whatever. But
Hmm.
let's get into this video. I really want to talk about this video for a second. Do you want me to play again?
Go.
Give me 1 second. Where are you?
God,
There we
believe me, there's so much you can talk about this.
You know the best way to stop judging people? Stop judging yourself. Because the very thing you're judging people about, in 99.9% of cases, you see something in them that you don't like about yourself.
That part you want to talk about is something that a lot of psychiatrists have studied and found out about it. The people who are doing the bullying is because they don't like a part of them that they see in you that you walk freely in. So instead of embracing it, they wanna say, I wanna bully you so people won't think I'm just like you. They'll think I'm different from you. And here the funny about it. There's some people, remember I talk about people who like to watch what we like to watch, but act like they don't like to watch it. You know how many undercover nerds who do code switch? I know you did a show about code switching, remember?
Yeah, it was Sunday, I believe, was it? Yep, Sunday.
Yeah. 80 70, 80, 90s, and early 2000s, code switching was heavy, big time. There were people who pretend to be jocks, pretend to be the popular kid, but were undercover nerds. But don't want nobody to know about that. Because if they knew about it, they lose their standing in the school society. They bully people that represent who they really are on the inside, but nobody on the outside knows it. I remember Jonathan Berryville said he had to code switch while he was in high school. He had to act like he's a thug or he's from the hood. And sometimes your neighborhood forces it on you that you have to code switch. If you're from Brooklyn, New York, or you're from Manhattan, or you're from the Queendorf or the Bronx, you have to code switch to survive. If you're from Atlanta, though areas in Georgia, Jonathan Bradford from that area, he mentioned too, you have to code switch. If you're from certain neighborhood that has so much ghetto net or danger, you have to code switch so people don't know who you really are. You gotta act like you part of that particular hood so you could go underground or go undercover with it. But some people take it to the next level where they start to bully people who represent what they really are. But I want people to know that that's who they really are. That happened in school. Dude, I figure out the cheat code of that in high school. So I ended up becoming a sport jock myself. Remember I told you I took mixed martial art, I took Chitu karate. So I end up getting promoted from the nerd society, which you're not supposed to have any talent, into the sport jock society. 'Cause I took martial art. I got into soccer. I played volleyball. I would do weightlifting. So even though I moved up to that rank, I was still a nerd. I didn't hide it. But what I did on the outside, it was almost masking what I was doing, even though I didn't mean to do so. There's a level of elevation that people can get through middle school and high school, even though they don't even try to hide it. You know you are a nerd, but you are skilled in basketball. You're a nerd, but you're skilled in soccer. You're a nerd, you're good in football. You're a nerd, you're good in basketball. LeBron James is a nerd. His IQ when it comes to basketball and knowing the history, knowing the sport, it's ridiculous. He can call out, stack, and play left and right. The guy is a nerd. He has strong photographic memory, but yet it didn't fall on him being a nerd because of his gift in that sport. Think about
Except
that.
when you talk about versus Jordan and him.
Uh, I told you this is not gonna work on that, dude.
I'm
We were
not
talking.
when this is not a sports show. We're not talking
I
about
know,
it.
I
I'm
know,
just
I
saying.
know, I know. We were talking about it yesterday. I said it's not a good argument because even though me and Paul were breaking down the dynamic behind it, it was different. If anything, LeBron James have a better IQ in basketball than Jordan
All
ever
right,
did.
let's get back to this.
So
If
that's what I'm
Jordan,
trying to point out. Intellect. I was talking about that. But the thing is, this happened in throughout society in this country. The moment you find a loophole to elevate your status, it seems totally unfair because it's almost like you're leaving your clan behind because you have an extra level of skills that promote you. If you're good in school politics and you enter the student body, they don't call you a nerd anymore. They can't because more than likely, because of what you're good at, it elevates you to the next level where you actually get into politics. You know, a lot of people who are good in politics in today's time did school politics either from elementary school, middle school, or high school, or in college. They're part of the student body, and they figure out how to learn how to utilize that part. Some of the people who did that did well in politics in today's time. While the rest of them who got in, well, you didn't have to wear a masking or covering up, but you see for yourself when they're out there in the public, they don't fit there. Like MTG, she's a complete dummy. Politics is not for her, but she going in there because one, Not the best place where you can milk money and cheat your way in and out of society. Congress and the Senate are meant for intellectuals. Well, lately we are a bunch of dumb rich people find a way in. You ever realize that? So the fact that they thought they can play it off and not realize they're getting destroyed time and time again when they fought against intellectual. It's just like they took the high school era and brought it into grown folk era and still out there to display. So when I watch what's going on in the Congress, it's like watching another high level of high school BS, but people never catch on to it unless you're very attentive like I am. I laugh
Mhm.
at it because what I'm watching that going on in Congress in the Senate is no different from high school. It's the same thing being repeated. It's just that that society, the sports jocks, the popular kid who are actually dumb, don't want to feel they're at the bottom. Gonna know in society, let's be real. Most of the nerds that they pick on end up becoming CEOs in Fortune 500 companies because they're highly intelligent, right? It take a brain to build such a big company from ground up and get the right people. Mark Zuckerberg is the epitome of a actual nerd. But yet he finds certain other nerd to come together and build a social media platform that became a juggernaut. Let's be real. We talked about it before, being closed door, that the people that pick on are the people that end up working for. Am I wrong?
No argument a bit.
So the only place that these people who do the bullying can somewhere hide in between our crew of people is to sneak into politics. But they still use the smart people to help them get in there. That called the aid. The aid is another name for give me the most nerdiest people who can help me win this office for me. Let me hire some brains. Because since I don't have the brain. You never noticed that? Remember that thing, I'm a tactician. I'm very tactical. I read through everything and I find it so obvious. I'm like, wow. We took what we doing in high school, elementary school, and college and take it to our work environment and never let it go. Which is crazy. At your job, I'm sure you are the best chef, but there's some other chef who's not as good as you, but you can tell they are dweeb. They are like the popular kid who don't got no real talent, but they figure out how to way to.
Actually, I hate to say this, but I have to say it. I am the best chef there, but I'm the dweeb there too.
Hmm.
So people think because I'm little. I was called a moron actually by my bosses. But the funny part is my food is better than theirs. Just saying.
You see what
Because
I'm
my
saying?
residents, when we go around and ask the residents, how they like it.
Hmm.
When they cook, they complain about them. But when I cook, this is, oh, we know when you're not working because the food sucks. I'm like, thank you. I'm that good.
But am I wrong?
No, but here's the thing about judging. I want to bring this up actually. So I mentioned about Dan C. Beard. He's one of the number one beer guys on YouTube. All right. So he
Hmm.
made a video a while back about judging beards. I'm like, the fuck? Yeah, I know I pick on you guys who don't have facial hair or can't grow any or don't have a nice beard like mine. Well, but that's all bull breaking, of course. You know what I'm saying? But when you're walking down a home, or down in the street or whatever, you see a guy with a nice beard like mine, or somebody like, oh man, oh, that beard is he needs some work. And I just keep going. I'm like, but that's judging. Except doing that, I learned to do something else. And I actually met a friend like this. Is funny. And he's at the gym. He's working out. He looks at a tough guy, but he's actually a little teddy bear. I go, how long you been growing your beard, dude? He goes, a couple of years off and on. I could come to him like, what you doing with him? Like, we start talking, and he goes, man, I wish I could do him with my hair. It sucks. Like, oh, I can help you with that. Like, what do you mean you can help me? Where are you? like, a hairstylist, I'm a chef. What the fuck are you gonna help me? I used to do beer stuff and hair stuff, dude. Like on YouTube. Like, really? Yeah, he became like great. And he actually has one of the best detail shops up here, dude. The number one. He's such a sweet guy. It's not even funny. But anyway, he is really, really good guy. But if I did judge him, I never make a friend like that. I kept judging. Why don't you keep my hip on hand? Like, yo, David, I know you can't grow a beard like mine, but maybe I can help you get to my beer as mine. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. People judge people on everything.
Except like he said, stop judging others. You want to stop judging others, stop judging yourself.
Bingo. People
Because
do
when you
that.
judge others, you're actually judging you. I made fun of other people's beards because my beard was nowhere near their level. Think about it.
I got judged for a lot of things in most of my past job. They
I
were
bet.
like, "Oh, he can't get his job done." I remember I did a project in Livingston, New Jersey. I'm African. That's the first thing that stood out. I didn't act like everybody else. One or two, no, 2 or 3 of these guys would act as if they know how to do everything. They're saying out in the open, "Oh, he's not gonna be able to do more than 5 deployments." And remember that I said earlier, I hate when people underestimate me, and I'm like, really. So at first, I thought to start doing my thing, and I noticed something was going on. They were trying to prevent me from doing more than 5, so they were doing all kind of things to stop me from doing more than 5. What they didn't realize, the senior tech who were part of our crew, but been there longer than us by far, they were watching what we were doing, so they were stopping them plenty of time. But I want to do
Of course,
more
they're
than
gonna stop others, bro. Because think
so.
about it. Why wouldn't they stop them? Because they're gonna embarrass themselves because somebody else can do the job fucking better. You know it.
So then what happened? One time I finished my 5. I want to do number 6 or 7. They said, "Oh no, you're not allowed." And one of the tech who's sitting there who watching us what we're doing say, "Hey, go back to your own and do your own. He allowed to do more if you want to." So when I heard that, I thought to smile. I said, they're gonna regret it. So day by day we'll go out to maybe 8 machine. They're still struggling on the number 3 or number 4. Another day I did 9 machine. One time I did 13. And I was whistling on purpose. When I say I was whistling, the senior tech were laughing at them. They look at these people. They were saying that he's not able to do 5. They got on number 13, and they're struggling on their 4th one. I would do like 4 or 5 machines at a time, get them on set, get everything done, boom, boom, boom. I was very systematic. I got my numbers up every other day. Averagely, I was doing between 8 to 10 machines a day, easy.
Okay.
Through the process. But I was trying to break my record. But the thing is, I would do it while whittling. I was like, while they're struggling on their 3rd or 4th machine, I'm on my 8th, on my 9th. I'm like, and they knew I'm doing it on purpose. Kind of look at them. I'm like,
Bro, one thing I would take proud of when people say they can outwork me. Nobody in my kitchen can outwork me. Nobody. You can try, but you're just gonna eat shit usually.
that was UBS for me.
I'm sorry?
That was UBS. I did a banking job at UBS. People
Yeah.
thought they could outwork me. And I proved them with my actions. Like, think again. What they saw me doing, they were dropping their jaw like, oh my. I
All right, before we
was,
move on, I want to play the next video because I want to. It
okay.
goes with our conversation.
Try to go a week without judging anyone. Because usually the people, who are very judgmental, like you might see someone, you're like, oh, look at that person this, look at that person that, oh, look at that person's fucking face, like all this shit. What are you reinforcing in your mind that everyone else thinks exactly like you? And that's a very harsh, scary environment to live in because you think everyone's judging you the same way. So do the challenge, like buy a fucking bracelet or a rubber band, put it on your hand, and try to go through your day without judging people. Judging people in a way where you're bringing them down, or judging people in a way where you're putting them up and putting yourself down. That's judging people. If you think something, say, positive of someone, they'll be like all pissed, unless you're thinking, oh, they're better than me, I suck. Try to not do that. If you do it, start over, put the bracelet on the other hand, see how long you can last. And that'll just change your perception of the world. Try to go a week without judging.
All right, go for it, David.
That part, I don't know anyone in the United States can do that easy. Because remember what I said, we live in a very screwed up society whereby you're put in a particular demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy being a loner at one point in my life. When I say you're a loner, you're not bothering by anybody, you're not trying to be around everybody, you're trying to stick to yourself. With me, I don't got time to judge anybody. I'm much focused on what I can do for me. It was easy for me because when you're a loner, you keep to yourself. You ain't trying to be bothered by anybody. You don't want to be in no situation. Because when you get bullied for so much for so long, you have to either you become a loner or you become a psychopath. That's one of the two paths for people who keep to themselves. I was more of a loner because I didn't want to be bothered by anybody. But you have people who got severe issue of judging people or because they want to feel a part of. I think that's the group that have a hard time trying not to judge. Well, let's be honest. This, this is taught from youth. If you're not part of that group, you're not good enough. And some people want to be a part of a particular group so they can feel good about themselves. So like the guy said, either you think they're better than you put yourself down, or you think you're better than them, you put yourself up. In some kind of way, there are people that have that dynamic in their mindset that they feel they have to be a part of something to feel good about themselves. But they can't help themselves from not judging. They gotta judge. Oh, I don't like how you. I'm more the more plain judge person. I don't like to be flashy. But for some apparent reason, I had to have cousins who like to take my stuff. Oh, it's corny, but you were way behind my back. Really? Oh, your stuff is whack, but they'll take it and use it. I be trying to figure out what's wrong with the human mind when people want to be so judgy about every little thing, but it all boils down to one key word we never talk about: self-esteem.
That's something that everybody suffers with it. I do it myself, to be honest with you. It took
I
me. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
uh,
Finish what you gonna say.
no, I'll let you talk after I finish it. I'm gonna say I'm one person who I didn't have no self-esteem because mine got destroyed. I had to build mine with principle. I'll talk about it later, but you can talk.
I hope so. It's my show. um, Confidence, self-defense, something I've been struggling as a young kid. You're gonna say, "Well, Pete, Spartan, whatever you want to call me." You're a martial artist. Does martial art build confidence? Yeah, it does. But it doesn't mean it builds confidence in every part of your life. Put me on a mat, I can fucking be very confident. But some things in life, like talking to a woman, I was very shy and very unconfident to go up to a girl, or felt comfortable to show off my work. I busted my ass off. It was something that I always struggled. Now, there are times I do struggle with that still. But most times, I'm too cocky, they say now. That's fine. I'll take cockiness over struggle with it anytime. We think, David.
My thing is, I I can't say I have a self-esteem issue, but I never look into my self-esteem. And I think when I build myself based on principle, I only have pride in what I accomplish or what I've done. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I feel like it's not enough. I don't judge myself based on other people. I judge myself where I came from my past. If I could have done better. And there's a part that I don't think have been talked enough about of the judging. There's some group of people, including me, who don't judge people based on their talent. They judge themselves based on where they come from. If they put a goal before themselves and they're trying to accomplish it, And sometimes we do this, which is bad. We put a time limit on when we're supposed to achieve it. If we don't achieve that particular goal, we're not happy with ourselves. So there's a part that is not being mentioned, whereby you, people judge themselves to the point of they're putting too much pressure on themselves. That is a stigma that have been in the dark for so long. It's lately people start to talk about it more because they realize it does something very damaging. It puts so much stress,
Mhm.
so much pressure. It get to a point whereby part of those who unalive themselves, there's a good huge number of people who's in that same predicament like I have, but fall down that particular category of unaliving themselves. They feel like they're not good enough. They feel like they're not bright enough. They feel like they haven't accomplished at a certain age or a certain stage because they're not judging others. They're looking at it more toward they're looking at themselves. It sometimes it's based on the upbringing, which came from abusive parents or you come from an abusive household where both parents make you feel like you were not worth anything. It developed a stigma whereby you start to judge yourself more than anything else. You don't judge people, but you judge where you at in life. You judge your status in life. If it's not good enough, 'cause you want to prove them wrong. That's where that mindset comes from. When you come from an abusive household, you come with a mindset where I'm going to prove them wrong. And to prove them wrong is about it based on a level of success you have acquired. If the level of success you acquire is not enough, you beat yourself up more than anything else.
And that's the problem. We are worst critic ourselves. Like, oh man, I wish I had that kind of beard. I wish my hair was like that. I had an 8 pack. I wish I could do work on my car better. I wish I could do this better. This. Don't just appreciate what you can do and chrome your skill, make yourself better. Every little thing, even like myself as a chef, we decrease ourselves very, very much, and chefs can be a little cruel at times. Great example. Hang on, before let me finish that sentence. Let me get my buddy, my brother, my president here. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president, Mr. President. How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. It's kind of splitting time a little bit. They were sort of talking about us a little bit on the BMU channel, show from the gray area that night about code switching, dress codes and whatnot. So I figured I need to be a part of that conversation some. But yeah, we're stimulating debate over in other channels too. So it was a good conversation. So but I had to just stop by.
I think that's a compliment right now.
That's what I'm saying. It is. So that's what I'm saying. So I went over to, showed them some love real quick, and then I bounced over here. So
Yeah. If we're so on, I might jump in and show him, show the Spartan view of his things. But let me finish my thoughts really far, and I'll give you the floor for a minute, all right? So people don't understand how when you're trying to make yourself better and you get beat up all day. Give you a great example, like I was trying to say. In the kitchen world, it's a very cruel world. I had chefs look at me like, that's fucked up. Threw all my work in the garbage because one little thing was off. I am talking about a 5,000 of an inch was off. They literally take a little thing and measure it. I had a Russian chef, not Russian, I'm sorry, a French chef, take a plate, smash it against my chest, and he said, change your shirt right now. Chef, I don't have another shirt. Go home for a day. You're done. I'm like, the fuck? I didn't do anything wrong because I kept putting, the vegetables on the right. I put it on the left. Obviously, HR find out. They were like, listen, we're not gonna dock you to pay. You're gonna get paid for the whole day because you said you for no fucking reason. That's a whole different story, of course. I have plates thrown at me. Yeah, plates, pans. But one thing I never gave up is keep pushing hard, making myself better and better and better and better. I still suffer coughing. Like, man, I wish this looks better or tastes better. But I keep croning and getting better and better slowly. I think a process. So, Paul, tonight we're talking about don't judge others. I'll give it the floor for a minute and let me know what you think of your opening thoughts.
It's too broad. That's a very broad statement to make.
Before we do that, you want me to play the first two videos I played? Maybe help you a little bit?
Sure.
All right. This is technically the second video, but I'm not going to play in order. That's okay with you?
Okay.
All right.
Try to go a week without judging anyone. Because usually the people, who are very judgmental, like you might see someone, you're like, oh, look at that person this, look at that person that, oh, look at that person's fucking face, like all this shit. What are you reinforcing in your mind that everyone else thinks exactly like you? And that's a very harsh, scary environment to live in because you think everyone's judging you the same way. So do the challenge, like buy a fucking bracelet or a rubber band, put it on your hand, and try to go through your day without judging people. Judging people in a way where you're bringing them down, or judging people in a way where you're putting them up and putting yourself down. That's judging people. If you think something, say, positive with someone, they'll be like, oh, pissed, unless you're thinking, oh, they're better than me, I suck. Try to not do that. If you do it, start over, put the bracelet on the other hand, see how long you can last. And that'll just change your perception of the world. Try to go a week without.
The best way to stop judging people? Stop judging yourself. Because the very thing you're judging people about, in 99.9% of cases, you see something in them that you don't like about yourself.
All right, Paul, you got the floor.
Well, I liked that you had the first guy, he had a definition. So he said judging in terms of putting people down or building people up and putting yourself down. I just don't think how that's not very realistic. And again, I think it's kind of hypocritical because in a lot of instances we do that. So we talk about dating, right? Or criteria, like the woman that you're going to be with. We were kind of talking about some women, Pete, on the way home from New York. So you have certain standards that you want in a person, despite this person may have other attributes that are good, but when you look at the entire resume, it's like, no. So again, judging is part of life. I mean, I think that, I don't think that's something we can necessarily get away from, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. If you have standards, you're going to be judging, positive or negative. It should certainly start with yourself. So I think the idea of you shouldn't judge yourself, I don't agree with that at all. I think certainly if you're going to judge anybody, it should be yourself before you then judge other people. The ones who go around judging others and then not holding themselves accountable. Again, if you didn't judge yourself, how could you hold yourself accountable if you didn't judge yourself?
Good point.
So I think you have to have a balance here. I think certainly those who judge without holding themselves accountable, I think that's certainly a negative. I think that's a negative. See, I'm judging right there. I'm saying that type of person is certainly not the type of person you want to spend your energy around. Those become very toxic people. So again, I'm going to judge that I should not be around that person. So again, so we can't do that. And certainly from a Bible perspective, when Jesus talked about judging lest you not be judged, I think he's certainly talking about judging someone's character, like in terms of, okay, this person will never be good, or this person's going to hell, or this person, is that there's no hope for that person. That person's always going to be the way they are. I think, or making a judgment without information. So you judge somebody just again based. Now again, we were talking about this as far as dress codes and things like that, and people are going to make judgments. You show up for a job, and again, depending on the job, you show up for an IT job wearing green hair. Now again, will some people get hired? It's possible. But you show up in for a 6-figure job interview in green hair and tennis shoes and a polo and a t-shirt or whatever, you're going to be judged by that. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong, regardless of your skill set, because you didn't find it necessary to make an impression. So what's your judgment of the people you're going to interview with? Maybe you don't look at them as highly as yourself. So I think there has to be a balance here. You know, we shouldn't look at ourselves more highly than we ought to, nor lower than we ought to. But as far as situations, in terms of people, how people treat us, first impressions, I think that's all part of the game. I think that's all part of the pie. And also if that judgment then affects how you then treat that person. Now, that's another thing. Now, again, are we talking about just what we thinking in our minds? Does that also then translate to how we treat the individuals as well? To me, that takes it also again to another level. And again, in terms of how you treat people, you should always treat people with respect, because of what I'm always saying on this channel. Respect is given. So with me, I come to you with my respect cup full. I'm going to address you in certain ways. I'm going to treat you, if I meet you for the first, I'm going to meet you guys for the first time. And then either you're going to get debits or credits based on the interactions. So if I met you and you were rude to me, then my respect for you is kind of going to come down, and I'm going to have thoughts about you, and then how I may interact with you later on.
I'll give you a great example, Paul. Yesterday when I came to your house, your son-in-law, he came up to me, shook his
He's not my son-in-law yet. He's not there. He's not there yet, but yes.
Soon to be son-in-law. Is that better?
I'll take that. All
right. Very respectful kid. I got to give you credit for that. Your daughter picked a good one there. He came up. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I didn't even see you in the house yet. I didn't even walked in the door yet. And like obviously I followed you in the house, but like I was, walking in, and you first person, even not even your wife, like your wife was like, I met him. Oh well, like he shook my hand. He was very polite. He showed me respect. I gave him respect back.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give it credit. Yeah. That's great. What you're talking about.
Yeah. And then you may judge. Now, if he came in disrespectful or what have you, you would certainly have an opinion of him that may not be favorable. Absolutely. So I don't think in and of itself that judging is necessarily wrong. And then also just getting back to the videos, if that's what you're doing on a regular, like that's all you do all day is judge people, then how are you getting any work done? Or whatever you're supposed to be about doing, if you're constantly kind of sitting back and just judging, oh, I don't like that person's dress, I don't like that person's look, I don't like that person's whatever, that tells me you have absolutely nothing in your life going on that's taking up your attention. Mm-hmm. So I think that's more so the problem. They say an idle mind is the devil's playground. And when you are so preoccupied with other people that you don't focus on your business. Me, I don't have time to judge a lot of people. When I'm at work, I'm 95% of the time, I'm looking straight ahead at my computer monitors. I don't know what's going on behind me. I don't know what's going to the left of me. A lot of people have to kind of tap me on the shoulder because I'm so focused in my work. So I don't have time to be judging other people. But yeah, I'm going to look at somebody. I'm saying that person looks attractive. That person, could use a haircut. That person needs to pull up his pants. That guy's beard needs to be trimmed. I can say all kinds of things. I can in my mind, but I'm still going to be about my business. And as far as, again, especially if I don't know you, I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know if you're a bad person. I don't know if you're a good person. I don't know anything about you. So for me to spend that time, and I really don't like being around people who gossip a lot about other people.
Thank you.
They say, I've heard it said that big people talk about ideas, average people talk about events, small people talk about other people. And so if I'm with somebody and they're constantly downing somebody or whatever, I may start and say, look, why are you always talking about somebody, man? Let's talk about something positive. I mean, what that person is doing to you. It'll annoy me after a while. And again, but I'm also making judgments because then I'm going to look at that person and be like, hey, you know, I don't know if I want to hang out with you. So again, certainly having informed judgments, righteous judgments, judgments that are based on being with someone for a while and seeing how they move and seeing how they talk and seeing how they behave, seeing how they see other people, how they treat other people. Yes, I think you're supposed to make those. If you're trying to date a woman and she's showing you everything that she's not wifey material, she's selfish, she's late, she's profane, she's disrespectful, yeah, you better be making judgments before you entertain bringing this woman into your life and, God forbid, marrying her or having kids with her or whatever, and vice versa for the guy. Ladies, if a guy isn't treating you with respect, you know, you should be judging. Absolutely. Especially when you talk about a life partner. You should be looking at how he treats his family. How does he treat his parents? How does he treat his immediate family? Those are things I think you need to be mindful of when making a decision whether or not I want to pair bond with somebody or not. So judging in a lot of ways is essential. The problem is we judge wrongly based on the lack of information. We judge too quickly. And we don't give people the opportunity to change or grow or to go past to change our view of what we may think about them. Because again, initially, when I met my wife the first time, she was very rude. I thought she was very rude to me the first time I met her. But it was over time, because again, we were in the same office. And so over time, I got to see her in a different light. And then once I started talking to her for the real, then I realized she was a different person. But yeah, she's very demure. She's very shy. She's very opposite. She doesn't show her hand. She's not like a puppy dog. She's not going to make friends easily. You got to have to get past that kind of veneer before she shows her hand. She shows her side. And then after I got in, then it was like a totally different person. She was like kind of goofy and giddy and all that kind of stuff. But initially, she was very deadpan, very, I said, hello, my name is, and she was just like dismissive. She was like, oh, whatever. And I thought, oh, this is kind of rude. And again, if it wasn't for her office mate who suggested that I take her out, because again, but we started hanging out, because the friend, she was very, she was very aggressive and she was very, hey, come hang out with us, have dinner, lunch with us and stuff, and hanging out at the table and conversations and stuff, and just hearing people talk and everything. And we got on friendly terms after that. But I still to this day I remind her how rude she was the first time I met her. So again, had I judged, or wasn't at least, and even if I did judge, had I not been open or hung in there long enough to see a different side of her, then yeah, I might not have asked her out. If my friend came and said, you need to ask her out, I'm not asking her out. Yeah, how rude she is. If she continually showed that. But again, just like I said, off rip, she doesn't necessarily, you come to the house, she's not going to be like, oh, hi, how are you? Some people treat a stranger like they've known them forever. She's not that type of person. You got to,
I saw that when I met her the first time. She was like,
yeah, you got it.
I'm going to hang out on the couch.
Yeah, you gotta sort of break through a little bit before she kind of embraces you like that. She's not like my dog. Like he'll meet you at the door and jump on you and stuff. She's not that type of person. But I remembered it. Yeah, and I had some initial feelings about it. But again, I was able to see that change, and we were able to make some certainly some very positive things happen. So yeah. I think judgment, there's something you're not going to be able to get away from. But again, if you are in a state of mind where that's constantly your thought process, that no one's good enough, or in the reverse, that everybody's better than you, or woe is me and everything's bad or whatever, then yeah, that's a negative place to be in. But for people to say, well, stop judging, no, I think that's almost a foolish mistake. because you're not going to be able to get by in this world if you're not able to have discernment. I mean, the Bible even says you should have discernment over certain issues. You should be able to read people, judge a person's character and intuition and things like that. Like, hey, is this a good deal? Someone comes and pitches a business idea to you. You need to be able to discern some things. Is this good? Is this person good character or whatnot? You need to be able to make some things, but not every decision needs to be a yes. And a lot of times, and I had to learn this early on too. At some point, you need to learn how to say no at sometimes too. So I think judging is proper, and it's making right judgments, having discernment. I think those are right things for an individual to practice. It'll save you, I think, a lot of misery, especially when you listen to the wisdom of others. Now, again, wisdom is a judge. I mean, if you read the book of Proverbs, that's all about judgment. Watch, my son. Watch how these people move. Don't hang out with a greedy person, a person who is loud. Watch for those women, those wayward women who try to seduce you with their charms and whatnot. They'll get you messed up. So the wisdom of Solomon, or certainly from the Proverbs, he's all about judgment. You need to be mindful of the world that you're living in. But again, always give respect. Hopefully you can find some individuals which you can build a trust and build a relationship with. And then if love can form, then you love with your whole heart. So again, we shouldn't be blind when it comes to this sort of thing. And there's things that you're going to find is wrong. Now, again, also making the distinction between an action and a person, that's also, I think, important. Because you can find anybody in a moment or in a period of time when they may be acting certain ways or whatever. That doesn't have to be necessarily a death sentence. I do believe in forgiveness. And I do believe in second chances and opportunities and things of that nature. I mean, again, depending on where a person is, they should be able to, finding them in a indiscretion shouldn't be a death sentence to them. But again, you need to be mindful. So again, it sounds good on paper, don't judge, but again, make righteous judgments, make good judgments, make sound judgments, do your research. And these days, people are like, especially in the dating, they checking your info. They getting your credit score. They're checking your criminal record. So people, yeah, I mean that's a part of what we people are doing, especially in the dating field. So yeah, so I think generally judgment is good if it's done for the right reasons and with the right information. And that's kind of like my summary of it.
Yeah. David, you want to jump in?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because remember I talked about there are people who judge themselves and sometimes put too much pressure. What Mr. Bennett mentioned is very, very key. There has to be a balance, but to not judge anybody, it's almost impossible. Some people judge others because they want to make themselves feel good. Let's be real. That has always been a thing. But my life has been, it showed me a lot of things about those who judge others and those who judge themselves. What kind of character? Remember I said I judge based on character. A person's character comes from a life experience, what you have been through, what you have gone through in life, how you accomplish, how you maneuver in life, how you value people, how you don't value people. That all play a part in a person's character. A person who is very respectful, very humble, have a character whereby they respect individuals, they respect people, they don't believe they're better than anybody else, they know they're on their own journey. They don't look to put people down. And those you have in your work environment who think they're the shit, you can tell they have a very weak character all the way through. And I think what Paul said is also true. it's almost impossible not to judge anybody on anything. When you buy a car, you judge. When you buy a house, you judge. When you buy your furniture, come on, you judge. When you buy anything you make a purchase on, you judging it based on quality, based on look, based on feel. We all do it. When you buy your food, hello, this Barton mentioned, they judge who cooking, who's what, and who's not. When they say, "Oh, I know you wasn't working that day. That was the food sucks." That happens. Like, well, you want to go to a restaurant. You look on the status. Is it a 4-star restaurant or a 5-star restaurant? We judge because you know why? You're not gonna go to a restaurant where the cooking sucks, would you? You're not gonna go to a hotel that 1, 2 star and spend your money there knowing that you might have bed bug in the bed, would you?
Mm,
Really?
I'm kidding.
You go to the cheapest hotel and risk your health? Okay. But in reality, we do judge. Everybody does. But it's based on how we go about judging. We judge where we want to stay, where we want to live, how we want to be, what kind of clothes we want to wear. Come on. I judge based on comfort. If it's comfortable to wear this, I'm fine. I'm not gonna wear something that's very uncomfortable. But yet some people wear uncomfortable things just for the status of it, which is not me. I'm all about let me be comfortable in my own body. I'm not gonna put myself through so much headache. But sometimes it's good not to be comfortable. When you're not comfortable, it motivates you to go to a particular direction. It's like finding the right formula of judging that will work best for you. Because if you don't find that pattern, someone can give you a solid advice that it can propel you into success. But because you don't like to be criticized, you don't like to be judged, you start judging that person like, oh, why is the person talking? Not realizing what a person giving to you can do you a whole lot of good in your life, but instead you want to brush it off. But that same person give that same advice to somebody else, and that person take it and run with it, and that person become highly successful. That same person that reach out to you that you didn't care to listen, you will start to judge that person like, I think that person trying to help that other person. Not when that person came to you a while ago, you chose not to listen. But yet, weeks or months later, you see that same person get to my advice, and that advice help the person in the promotion, help the person land a new contract, a new project, and you start to feel some kind of way. But the person came to you, you didn't care to listen. So who fought it? It's like we have people who have personal self-esteem issues, or personal ego issue, or how I'll make it crystal clear, have a screw way of thinking or philosophy that is not sound and it's not grounded at all. We have plenty of those out in today's society, but they don't realize what they're doing to themselves or it hurt themselves or hurt people around them. I think that's the issue we're having today. So when we have to stop judging others, to find a society that doesn't do that is almost impossible. No matter it is impossible. But you guys said it. You may have a standard. So you will judge the kind of woman that you want to have around you or judge the kind of woman you don't want to have around you. Same thing, vice versa. Women that are also, oh, what shoes he wearing? No, I don't like the shoe. I don't like, you wearing sweatpants? Oh, why can't you dress up? Oh, look at his nails. Oh, he got dirt on his nails. Oh, I don't like it. Look at his skin. It's not shiny. It feel like he struggles. Oh, look at his hand. It's so rough. You cannot tell me women don't judge men left and right, up and down, 360 and then some.
I think women judge more than anybody.
You you don't think?
Yeah, but it's done and again, trust me. Look, I got a house full of women here, so I know all about it.
Yeah, you're screwed no matter what. Paul, no offense.
It is. It can get so
Toxic.
pins and needles here in terms of any slight, anything, the shoes you have on, the whatever, and that's the thing. I mean, you have
That
again,
don't
a
look
lot of
good
people
on
you can dish it, but you can't take it. So that's another thing that makes it bad because again, like to David's point, sometimes again being able to take critique, and we're to the point now where we don't understand the difference between an honest critique for the purpose of correction and being judged or being put down. And for a lot of people, I see it in a lot of, I'm not trying to be the old fogey here, but for a lot of young people, it's just like, oh, anything. And it's like, wow, they just lose it. And it's so, yeah, it's, I think, so the whole idea of not judging, I think has almost ruined the generation to an extent. In that they don't understand that oftentimes it's supposed to make it. Now, again, for the person who's making the judgment, again, I think a lot of this also boils down to your intentions. So I think certainly for younger people or what have you, or for sensitive people, yeah, I think you need a tougher skin. But for the person, if you're going to be making the judgment, what are your intentions in making the judgment? Is it to in fact put them down or to kind of bring them down a peg, or are you genuinely interested in that person's well-being? And so that's the hard part, for a lot of people to discern that, is this person has my own best interest? But again, even especially with siblings and whatnot, it's a constant pecking and just the peck, just something I can nibble out, something I can get on her nerves or something.
So the question I do have for you: how do you keep the peace between 4 women?
It's very difficult. Well, my wife and I are pretty.
Now, is it you? 4 women. Your wife.
I have 3.
3 daughters.
Yeah, I said my wife. Take her out of the equation.
Oh, okay.
Because my wife is pretty demure. Again, she's pretty level-headed relative to everybody else. So really, it just boils down to my 3 daughters.
Dad, I don't like that shoe. Dad, that tractor don't look.
Well, they can't. Well, I mean, they can't do anything like to my wife and I. They can't say anything to us. I mean, we're like bulletproof. I mean, you can say whatever you want. I'm gonna flip it on you. So again, so we're not. But between them, it's a very, and like I said, it's one of them could be very, passive aggressive, so to speak. And then when the one calls them out on it, then they just kind of lose it. Like I said, they're good at dishing, but taking. So again, but at the same time, I can understand the being upset because, again, it's a lot. You have to question, where's that coming from, and why are you saying it now? Is it what difference is this going to make in this moment? Are you focusing, given the occasion, given the event, is that really important to be calling that out at this particular time? Why would you call this out at that time? So again, there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of things you have to manage. And again, it does become difficult a lot of times when you have these, when you have these ladies and they are, every one of them, kind of has this energy to it. I mean, they're great girls. They've done great things, academically and whatnot. They're fine women. They're not unruly. They're respectful, especially to the world. But sometimes to each other, then that's another story. And yeah, it is a managed thing. In fact, I'm going to have the 3 of them here this summer. This is the first time in a long time. I'm going to have all 3 of them here this summer.
Uh-oh.
Until my oldest goes to medical school in August. So my wife and I were already kind of level setting a little bit, and we're going to have some conversations with them. It's like, look, it's going to have some ground rules in terms of how you treat one another and how you treat the intimate spaces that you're in, because they all share the same bathroom.
Oh,
And trying to get them to cooperate, respect boundaries.
oh,
That is a challenge, because I got 3 grown. My youngest just turned 22. So these are 3 grown women. These aren't kids, and that's another thing. How I deal with them. Then I can't, if they were 12, I could be like,
time out.
yeah.
my God!
But I got 22, 23, and 25. That's a lot of estrogen under one roof.
You're fucked.
And so
Little word
so
pop.
to answer your
by him.
so to answer your
Can I take
question,
it? You will put a wife there. Honey, I think this is your turf.
so to answer your question, it's like, I guess see me by the end of the summer, and I'll let you know what I was able to work through, because that's and my wife and I, we kind of
gonna have all the girls out on the roof, have them coming on a stream and like, yo, like 5 minutes each, like tell them, give me a little funny story about your dad.
Oh Lord. So we want like mom and the referee. Dad don't do nothing. Cause that
I
was
say
like
come on a stream. I didn't say you got a boxing match. You're dumb.
no, because trust
I'm
me.
good at the buddy.
they could certainly come on. They're free to talk about me all they want. Like I said, I'm totally transparent in terms of how they see me.
I just want them on for 5 minutes each. I want to hear the funniest story they can tell me about you. That's all I want.
Oh God, that's not every dad dream, because damn well for sure.
He doesn't give a shit. Look at his face. He
I know.
doesn't care.
I know. 3
Am
daughters.
I wrong or right, Paul? Do you even care?
Not really. No,
He don't care. But when 3 daughters, they go find the goofiest thing he's unaware of.
All right, let's
be
play.
like-
I want to play 2 more videos. I'm going to play back to back, and I'll get your guys' opinion right into it. All right, because we're coming to our wire on time wise. Where is it? There's one.
Critical with yourself, you're hypercritical in the lens through which you see the world, and you're very judgmental. What I tell people is, once I understood what was going on in my own head, it made me look at the world through a different lens, one of kindness, compassion, and it also dissipated the anger that I had towards my parents. Because what happens is, of course, they're supposed to be the caregivers, but if they don't have the tools to take care of their own pain, they can't help you. That realization was very important, as the realization that people carry baggage and their reactions oftentimes have nothing to do with you. And so having a much more thoughtful, gentle, kinder way to interact with people, I think, is extraordinarily powerful.
Was there another one? I thought he said he had 2.
I believe so. I will say that the way I put it next video, I think that the term that people don't recognize is what they call iron sharpen iron.
Guys, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. I was fixing it really fast.
What I'd like people to remember is that you're not stuck. You're actually grieving a past version of yourself. So there's a part of you that's died, that actually you left behind a long time ago, but there's a part of you that still misses it. You still want things to be the same. You still want things to be that way. And that keeps pulling you back. And that's actually blocking you from making the next move. It's stopping you because life used to be this way, or life used to feel this way. And so we're stuck, not because we don't know what to do next. We're stuck because there's a part of us that wants to hold on to what we have here. There's a beautiful Zen teaching that says, what's holding you back is what you're holding on to. What are you holding on to that's holding you back? There's an identity, an idea, a mindset, a behavior, an attitude that is keeping you held back. And once you let go of that, once you open and release your hands, all of a sudden you feel free. So what identity, what habit, what mindset, what expectation are you letting yourself be held back by that if you were to let go of, you could easily move forward?
That video will take time to think on because it hit on multiple different levels, but it's more so.
I came across the last one. I know it doesn't really go with our topic. I really wanted to get you guys' opinions on that towards the end. But who wants to take the first video first?
The first
Well,
video,
I could take both of them together.
All right, go ahead.
I think they're saying that in a way they're saying the same things. You know, they say hurt people. And I think certainly with the first guy, he was certainly speaking from a pain that he had based on his relationship with his parents. And I think a lot of parents, and this is almost like a vicious cycle that goes on in generations now. And they say, like, certainly with African Americans, they say we have generational trauma. There's been this has been medically studied from slavery all the way up that we kind of deal with. And sometimes it takes us a while to have an understanding of not only where our trauma is coming from in terms of how we're interacting, but then having the empathy to think about the trauma that our parents came from. That's something you may not grasp, certainly initially, as you are, because you're going through it. You're taking the abuse, you're taking the incoming and the barbs and whatnot from your parents and whatnot. So you don't understand necessarily what the culture milieu they've come from. And so because of that, that's going to really, that can really screw you up in terms of you being able to deal. So the guy being hypercritical of everybody was because, again, how he was treated in his youth. And same for the other person in the second video, he was talking about the same thing, this trauma that a lot of people find themselves in and how that then manifests itself into their behaviors and treatment of other people. So again, hurt people. It's a defense mechanism because of how you were treated in your youth. So yeah, I think that's also a source. And going back to what I was saying earlier about, again, making right judgments. What is behind the judgment that you're making? Why are you doing it? Again, is it for the betterment of the other person? Is it to help to give an honest critique so the person could be better? Or you just looking to pull someone down because of the crap that you had to deal with in your past?
David?
So yeah, I think that's I think both of the videos kind of spoke to that. At least that's why I saw it.
Go ahead, David.
I would say that I agree with Paul on that one, but the last video, it's kind of like that's a philosophy issue because I would agree some people hold on to their past, some are not. I would agree some people are holding on to their trauma. It's not always what they missed in the past because we have been on platform on panel when we talk about these things, and it's sometimes it's not the experience that get them paid. It's a trauma that affect they can let go. It's like an anchor. That's what I say in that last video. It's something that will take time to think on because it can be flipped on either side. But right now, there's a case that's going on with Diddy and his victims, and what a lot of people not pay attention to because a lot of people don't have a degree or have taken class in psychology and understand the human mind, how the human mind really operates. It's not always all the time that you hold on to a past event that was good for you. Sometimes people hold on to a pattern that is bad. It's like a trauma they haven't been able to overcome. Because of that part, they cannot move on to the next level. It's hard to go to the level because they'll think there's nothing good out there. So that is a mixed bag to dissect and to break down. I think maybe we might do that on another show if it's part of, if we can really pinpoint the logic behind that because I think we subconsciously either we're ready to let go of the trauma, move on, or let go of past good feeling because we can never get it back. It depends how that operates. So trust me and believe me when I say that that is not a very simple video to dissect. And when I listened to what you were saying, it fitting into my mind not to let go. It kind of like a contradiction phrase to say, because you can say in one hand there's some people who miss the good old days, don't to be back when it used to be. You can agree on that standpoint. But on the other hand, there are people who are traumatized from that past. They feel like that past will remind them nothing will change. So they hold on to the pain and the way of numbing them to all the way of building strength. And they let go of their past, they feel like they're gonna be weak. How you deal with that part? Like I said, it falls on either side of the road. It's a very complicated thing, but it need to be dissected properly so people can get a level of clarity. That's just me. I digress.
All right. I really like Jay's stuff. Jay's very he has a good stuff and makes you think of things a little differently. That's why I want to play that video. Before we get into our closing thought, I have a question. I want you guys to go right into the question. Right after that, go right in your closing thoughts. Do a little different today. So the question I have for everybody tonight is: why are we so quickly to judge others, especially we don't know the full backstory of them? And then you go around your final thoughts. Paul, I know you're ready. You want to go first? I can see you're already wind up.
Well, like I said, I think the first video talked about it. A lot of it comes from, again, your insecurities. So because your insecurities, how you were made to feel, you then do that to other people. And so that's, yeah, until you deal with that to where you can be good in your skin, you won't allow people to be good in their, comfortable in theirs. But having said that, though, judging is still a tool, a very important tool in terms of how you're going to navigate your life, how you navigate your friendships, your relationships, the person, again, who you decide to marry. Yes, you need to be the jobs that you take, your career path. Yes, you definitely need to be making right judgments, but just make sure that they're informed and make sure that you're in a good headspace, that there's a purpose behind what you're doing. Some people just can't help judging something or someone, again, because, again, that trauma, it's almost like it's on automatic. But anything that you do, it's like, is this going to add value to my life or take away from my life? And so we focus certainly on the judgments that'll add value to your life rather than things that'll take away from it.
Whew. Final thought. I believe everybody should take the time and just ask themselves what they want to accomplish in life. What are they trying to build? Who are they are individual? Because one, how you judge people depends on how your ideology is built based on. There are people who don't like to be around crowd because they feel like they don't fit in. They prefer peace. So I can't say they're judgy, but it's more so they just like to be in a realm whereby it's less judging or less people to worry about. That's a area I would like to study into and figure out why. Maybe because of trauma, maybe because of past experience, maybe because of something they prefer to be in. It could be many different things. But the idea of judging, it could be good, it could be bad, but it's not going to leave today's society no time to deny the world of humans. But I would suggest build a philosophy that is grounded, build an ideology that it have solid ground, because that can help you maneuver through this society where we're in, where like people are judging for a negative reason, we're judging for the positive reason. Then to the young generation, well, why they feel like they cannot be judged. I hate to say that you're going to be judged regardless. You're not going to escape it. Issue is how you go about it. There's some people that want to judge you, but they'll pull you to the side and try to correct you. But those who trying to correct you and try to make sure your life is better, if you don't take that advice, then by all means, you're going to be doomed for life. Because when you reach outside the real world, where there's no protection, you're on your own, then you will start to feel some kind of way. But it can lead to either you have a stable mindset or an unstable mindset. But hey, I digress. It's your choice.
I think in a way it's nature to judge people. We can't help it. But it's a healthy judgment, like Paul said, and a negative judgment. It's up to you which one you want to pick. I used to judge people, like I said earlier in the show. I realized that's not healthy. I try to see the positive out of people now. So, before we go, let's go to a quick schedule update. David, you want to talk about your show tomorrow? Dr. Stone, right?
Tomorrow is a very unique show by a particular anime that I would suggest to anybody to watch. It's good for kids, it's good for teenagers, it's good for adults, but it also puts you in a question. How would you have responded in this type of situation? And I hope while we discuss about season one, and we do a complete breakdown. I've watched all 4 seasons, a new season coming out soon. But the level of information, the level of intelligence, the level of awareness in that particular show is something I'm not saying it would never gonna happen. But I will say this, if it were to happen and the entire world got put to or what would I term it, where everybody turned into stone. That's what it is. The first episode, everybody get petrified. That's the term, petrified, petrification. You got turned into stone, but you're not dead. You able to sense and what almost in darkness, what time fly by. Almost 1,000 years later, if you're able to count the time, only very few people would ever do that. You wake up to a world whereby every ounce of technology is gone. How will you start rebuilding yourself from there? How will you survive that new world whereby there's no more cell phone, there's no more computer, there's no car, there's no train, there's no anything. Just nature and animals. What first step are you going to take from that environment? But as you walk around, you find other petrified people trying to figure out what to do. How will you operate in that type of realm? Not the anime itself. It's funny. 'Cause I remember on that last show, I was clowning in. I'm like, oh, let any of the 304, the Pookies and the Weiwei get away from this type of realm. What are they going to do if there's no nerd around them? What are they going to do? If you didn't have no life skill before you got petrified, what are you going to do? It's a cool anime, but it's something that'll make you think. So don't worry. I hope you tune in and you watch. I'll do a thorough breakdown. We'll have our conversation. I hope we don't get to a debate because it's almost scientific in a way. It's almost tactical in a way, but it make you want to think different. If you are placed in that scenario, how you would have responded or how you would judge it. That's what I'm going to say.
All right. Paul, you want to talk about your show for Thursday?
Yeah, so Thursday, certainly on the Next Gen Training Show, we're going to be talking about, again, the power of words. Okay, so again, changing your words, change your mindset. And certainly looking forward to helping people in terms of, speaking better, especially if you want you want to change your outcomes. Obviously, you got to put the work in, but it starts with your mind, and it starts with the words that you use. So looking forward to that discussion on Thursday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time here on the Sparta HQ Network.
Gentlemen, I'm looking forward to both of your shows. So Friday we're off. We'll be back on Saturday with Terminator, the cinematic legend, time travel or machine. I am really looking forward to that conversation. And we are having a gray area. I gotta check the list what we're going on. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Q&A this week. We're open panel. Anybody
Yes, open panel. Yep.
Yeah. And on the 6-3 is next Tuesday. We're talking about No Mountain is Too High. I'm looking forward to that one. So, except that, David, last words?
Last word, come tomorrow. Enjoy the dissection of a very unique anime show, what I believe is good for every household to get into and just challenge your thought process, how we would have done these scenarios that we're talking about. It's cool, it's funny, but I think that's another way of teaching ourselves. Maybe we should start working on building life skills right now, because you never know what can happen. Either you go in hunting, you woodwork, welding, hand-on skill that is very tangible. I think we need to start acting as what skill do we have that could keep ourselves sustainable. I ain't talking about your gadget skill. I'm talking about when necessary, you got to use your hand. That's a good question to ask.
Mm-hmm. Paul, any last words?
No, good here.
Guys, as always, this was Spartan HQ Network. I am the Spartan. He is Sperm Groot. He is Mr. President.
Bear Paul.
Oh, shit.
Here we go.
You were good all night.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
As
And
always,
that's my
this is
logo.
Spartan HQ Network. Stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bear Paul.
I can't win it with this guy ever.